So now we have a couple of reasons to work with a professional man like Iñaki. The first reason, of course, is that he gives us the best information ever, so we can work in a very easy way, although there's a big distance between us, between his practice and the dental laboratory. But for this case, and this is the second important reason why we work so good together. So he lives in San Sebastian, we take the plane, and in the evening we can dine together and eat a lot of pinchos. This is very important too. So we had to deal here in this case with an ovate pontic. So, and for the technicians among us, it's good to know what is an ovate pontic, what is the real pontic design. It's this, you can see here an extracted tooth. We cut off the root in this way, and this is the ideal form we have to create on the mastercast. So we have a certain kind of protocol in the lab. So as Iñaki told, we have a good provisional. We try to copy as good as we can the position of the provisional, what you can see. So we do cross-mounting. It means that we put in articulator the model with the provisional, and then we have a labial index to see where the contour is when we close the contour of the arches of the upper jaw when we close the articulator. This is good for the stratification, that we don't come out of the arch. On the right-hand side, you can see that is to create the design or the bridge and the copings, as you can see here. So basically, it's very important that we have a sufficient support of the ceramics. This is one of the main reasons why we had in the past chipping. There were a lot of reasons, of course, but I think one of the main reasons was the lack of a good design of the substructure. Here you can see when we close the articulator, on the left-hand side you can see that there is sufficient space for veneering material. So, and then of course, this is a little bit chemistry. This is what we learned from the industry, that we have to ensure a good bond, a good connection between the zirconia substructure or copings and bridges and the ceramics. So we go up, we fire extremely high for the first firing. It will be a wash layering, very thin, and this ensures us a good connection. Of course, when you put alumina and of course also zirconia under ultraviolet light, under black light, you can clearly see that there's the shadow again. So we cover the first layering with a fluorescent powder, which gives us a lot of light inside the restoration, and of course it brightens up the gingiva. Professor Blatz and Iñaki, they did a wonderful study and published in the Quintessence of Dental Technology in 2011, I think.
Yeah, so.
So, and why fluorescence? So we try to copy nature as good as we can, and here we see cross sections of natural teeth, and you can clearly see under black light that the dentine of a natural tooth fluoresces a lot. So this is what we try to copy. And then of course we do the layering. This is something that we do mostly, not all the time, but mostly in the lab, and then we take all the work and we fly to San Sebastian to finalize, to fine-tune the restorations. Here you can see step by step what we are doing. So we are building up that what we see, we try to copy with the right powders, of course. This is then the bisque bake, and then it's time to pack and to fly from Brussels to Bilbao, and then Bilbao, San Sebastian. So this is Lola, and I go briefly through what we have been doing when we have been in Iñaki's practice. So he did a pickup impression. We quickly made a model, of course, with resin in the dies or in the crowns, otherwise it will break again with retention. And so first of all, there was a problem with the canine, of course. It was a little bit too short. So Iñaki built up with composite, a new model, so that we could fine-tune the length of the canine. So what good is on Iñaki, on the collaborationship, that he always tells us what to do to make better. He pushes us all the time. He doesn't say, this is wrong what you did, this is not good. He said, you can do this better when you do this way. And this is a big advantage. So we never feel guilty. It makes us feel very good. And you see next to the practice, we have a small lab. There we can finalize, in fact, the restorations we do together. And this is what we did. We built up a bit to push the tissue, so it's good for dental technician to understand a little bit about periodontics, to understand the gingiva, why we have to push up, why do we have to build up, why do we have to flatten sometimes the contour. So it's, it makes sense. This is collaborationship, this is communication between Iñaki and ourselves. So, and here you can see this is then the final restoration. Do I have to push again?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do it.
So sometimes we sprue with silver powder to see the contour and the texture a little bit better. This from the palatal side, and you can clearly see that from the palatal side the ovate pontic comes out just like a natural tooth out of the gingiva.
This is about the day of cementation. You can see the tissue is already brought up to different distance. 2 weeks, the tissue is come back. This case we finished just already a year ago. So this is the scanner of each tooth. You can see the BIOS, how it's holding the buccal plate. It was a thin one, and you can see some particles of BIOS going in the apex of the canine. This is the pontic where we have the buried implant, and you can see how small is the distance from where we were. And you can see how much we have to compensate. We are almost touching the chimney of the entrance of the abutment. This is the initial situation. This is the provisional restoration and the finished work 2 weeks after. This is the smile, and I would like to show you where we finished, where we are. Just a little short video, couple seconds about. This is the short video where you see, this is done with an iPhone 4S, where you see in the left side the situation intraorally. So the tissue is growing constantly. This is what we see, especially if you select this the 1 year picture. You can see also the central incisor grew a little. You know, the iPhone is limited, but at least you can see what is in there. But it's a tool that we use a lot, the iPhone, to really show the reality. We are not here to try to
falsify the photos.
To falsify the photos. And this is the final work. This initial situation, 2 weeks, and then 1 year after, with the corresponding X-rays. Everything has been really stable, nothing has moved. And with that, we would like to thank you for your real kind attention, and I hope we have shown you other ways to really be able to create this type of cases. Thank you very much.